Welcome to the September 16th meeting of the Easton Planning and Zoning Board. As you can see, this is a hybrid meeting. So we'll read the procedures for the hybrid meeting. Attendance by the planning board members may be in person or remote, as you can see. And both types of attendance shall count toward quorum. This meeting may be broadcast live and recorded on ECAT. To use the Zoom link, you'll need to use the link on the agenda or download the Zoom application. You'll need the webinar. While conducting hybrid meetings, we'll endeavor to keep meeting operations as close to standard protocols as possible. However, use of the remote platform will necessitate some additional meeting protocols. Number one, while the board members or commissioners and applicants will be on video and audio, public participants invited to speak by the chair will be in person, on video, or on audio. Public participants joining by Zoom will be muted and with no video feed. Public lines will be muted throughout the meeting to allow the board to conduct business and to eliminate background noise. Number two, for general meetings, not hearings, and only for items under which the chair solicits public comment, members of the public participating in the Zoom meeting may submit a written question via text chat, provided they include their full name and address for the public record. Members of the public viewing the meeting on ECAT may submit questions in writing to dped@easton.ma.us. The chair reserves the right to respond to questions during the live meeting, but may limit the time for such activities. Number three, all votes will be by roll call. And four, for public hearings during the public testimony portion of the meeting, members of the public joining via Zoom may be recognized by using the hand raise function. If you're calling in by phone, you can press *9 to raise your hand. Number five, as in any public hearing, testimony offered must be related to the hearing being held. And number six, when all business indicated on the agenda has been completed, the members will vote to adjourn. So let's get started tonight with a roll call. Kedem?
Present.
Wolf?
Present.
Weeks?
Here.
Zygmunt?
Here.
And Stetson is here as well. All right, first up is, looks like we've got a request for continuance on the Taco Bell. Can I have a motion?
I'll move to continue 482 Foundry Street and 390 Bay Road to continue till September 30th, 2024. Wolf.
Kevin, second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. Kedem?
Aye.
Wolf?
Aye.
Weeks?
Aye.
Zygmunt?
Aye.
And Stetson's an aye as well. All right. First up is 7 Lois Lane, Borderland Engineering.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members. Gregory Bunovitz, Borderland Engineering. I'm here with the owner of the facility, Alan Drunas. Here to discuss 7 Lois Lane, which is a proposed indoor pickleball facility. Since the last meeting, we got some feedback from a site visit and also comments from the staff report. And we tried to do the best we could to address those comments, keeping in mind that this is a redevelopment site, so we have the existing site constraints that we have had to work with, which are the pavement and the existing structure footprint. So largely the site has been unchanged since it was constructed in 2001, and we're updating the traffic flow patterns mostly in lighting. So I did do some 8.5 by 11s of just the main part of the site plan, if you'd like to have those.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So the main changes that we made, updates since the last meeting, were labeling the entrance to the building, which is on the far side of the building, actually the easterly side of the building. We're designating parking on the easterly side of the building, westerly side, I'm sorry, which would be the close side. Designated that parking as employee parking. We've also reorientated the parking on the southerly side It was diagonal parking before, and now we're making it parallel parking. That does enables us to create 2 additional parking spaces. So the required number of parking spaces is 62, and we're providing 67. So that's 5 over the required parking. And then it also enables a little bit more room in between the building and parking spaces. So it's actually 4 more feet of room there. It was 16 before, and now it's 20 feet. And actually, the majority of that driveway area is 26.6 feet, and just squeezes down for one little section. So that provides additional traffic movement area and pedestrian movement area on that side. We added 1 light pole to the easterly side of the parking lot where there was a lighting concern over there. We did note that light pole that was optional or to be reviewed by the planning board if it's required. So we didn't want to just go ahead and place it. Wanted to be sensitive to the neighboring zones and provide the needed lighting for the site. So I think that's about it for changes.
Thank you for the presentation. Stephanie?
I was out last week, so I did not have a chance to look at this. My one comment is, having been out to the site, I believe that light in that furthest parking lot is essential, and that it can be shielded such, if they put it at the back of the lot, then the light can be cast forward onto the area that will actually be where people are parking, and you can shield the back from the neighbors. And that's no different than any other requirement, lighting requirement, is to ensure that light is not casting off property onto abutting property. They had provided a photometric plan. It sounds like an updated one showing what that might look like.
No, we did not get that, but the site is relatively small in that area, and 1 light should be sufficient for that,
Right,
for that area.
Right, yes. So that was my primary comment. And again, when I went out to the site, this was an instance, it's unusual. Usually you'll look at a plan and it looks like there's more space. But when I went out to the site, it seemed that there was actually more space than I had envisioned looking at the plan for vehicles coming through. And again, Mr. Bonovitz talked about shifting parking to provide even more.
And there's a good amount of vegetation behind, like in between the residential home and the back of that parking lot, right?
There actually isn't, because it was an unmaintained stormwater basin that has since been maintained in the past month or so.
Okay.
So if you look at it on the imagery, it does look like there's some vegetation there, but it was actually just very unmaintained area.
Mr. Chair, it sounds like someone may be recording the meeting, which is perfectly fine, but they should let people know that that is the case, if in fact it is the case.
Okay. I mean, it's also being recorded on ECAT if, if you want to save yourself the trouble or save your battery. Okay. Any other board members?
Make sure that all the lights that you are adding, including that one, is dark sky.
Okay.
I have a quick question, kind of related to, I was looking, went out to the site, did a quick site visit, walked around.
Mm-hmm.
It looks fine from the back. The lights, I don't think will bother the neighbors in the back. What about that? I think it's a house to the right. There's like a driveway on a house to the right.
It's not really a house, it's just
Okay.
a shed type of.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't
It's
figure
an
out. Didn't
accessory
wanna-
building to the
okay.
house that's on Pine Street.
Okay. I
It's
saw
just
it
that
and
they
didn't
have-
want to poke
we
in
let
there.
them- We let them go through our property to get there. That's-
Okay. Yeah, I was curious about that because I saw the driveway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw the same thing. I took a ride out there today. I just had a couple of questions. There's a slope loading dock that's going to be filled in, I assume, to bring the parking lot up to grade?
Actually, we're just going to leave that there, and just utilize the building the way it was, so that way, if it ever was gone back to warehouse use, that loading dock could still be utilized.
You still have the 3 spaces that'll be, you wouldn't drive all the way in there, just at the beginning of it. The drainage system is still intact, everything's gonna stay the same.
Okay, yeah, because I see 4 parking spaces as
Right.
part of the
It's
plan.
still- it's all-
They're just going to be at the bottom of the loading dock?
Yep.
I did kind of walk the property, and I think right over what looks like the property line in the rear, there is very heavy vegetation. I could barely see the house through the vegetation as I stood right about where that light pole was. The last question I had is, to the right of the building, is the plan showing just the existing pavement, or is that going to be additionally paved to the right?
No, the paving is done,
Okay.
just what's there.
Because that lower right-hand corner is a very blind turn. I understand that you're making it one way around the building, but if anybody ever came the other way, it's a really tough thing. Because I had to leave that way because you were doing construction over on the left-hand side of the building.
Right.
And
We're on that way.
very tentative to go around that corner.
But with the signage and keeping the traffic flow, going the way it's supposed to go.
So there's no opportunity to make that corner a little bit bigger.
That, no, because that's a drainage structure there. That front area in front of that is all out of a pond.
Okay, thank you.
Can I ask one additional question, kind of building on that one? Going around that corner, it is a pretty sharp corner. There's a little bit of a drop there. I don't remember if there was a guardrail there. If not, do you plan on putting anything to kind of stop people from overshooting or skidding out?
Well, but your traffic is going away from it, not coming towards it.
Yeah.
The one way is going the opposite way.
Yeah, they're still turning on that corner. Is still a little bit of a sharp
If we're gonna
corner.
put something there, we
Yeah.
absolutely will. Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem.
Bob, could I have a follow-up question to what Alan brought up? So is the applicant intending to continue to allow that abutter to use the driveway?
Probably not.
Because that seems like it would create a potential conflict with traffic
It's gonna
flowing
cut
through.
into our parking, so that's gonna go away. Right now, it's, we're not here to ruffle any feathers because it's nice to have someone around for protection of the property in terms of, anybody stealing or doing vandalism. So, to answer your question, like I said, I believe that's an accessory building to the house out front, and it's just convenient for them to come in that way to utilize that building. So, that's gonna have to end.
Joanne, any thoughts or comments?
Nope, none.
Any other board members?
Just
Yeah,
had a-
what is the timetable for this?
We're hoping within the next 60 days to be done.
Can I ask one more question about, so when I drove out there, I noticed there was a really nice sign that looks like it's going to be illuminated. Are you planning to come kind of back before the board for that piece?
The tenant is taking care of that,
Okay,
so I don't have the answer to that. All I know,
Okay.
what I'm doing is we're re-landscaping everything from the sign all the way along the right-hand side, all the way up to the back of the building.
okay,
Making sure we keep it a mowable type of, grass, redoing the island in the road.
okay.
Just trying to aesthetically, make the place look like what it should look.
Yeah, I like the live to pickle, but I was just curious about the illuminated sign part.
I can't
Okay.
answer that for you, the tenant, that's up to the tenant.
Okay. Has anything come before?
So you and I had talked about this earlier, and now that I'm thinking about it, if they're using the existing light box, and although it hasn't been used for over 10 years, probably longer than that, so it would, if they needed a new sign permit, it would need to come before the board, and we should be notified.
If
but
it
it's
is
already
internally
installed.
illuminated.
If it's internally illuminated, it would come before the board,
It
but
was
when,
when it was
Well,
originally
but
installed.
you don't know what the tenant is going to do, so yes.
yeah. So I can talk to Kevin about
Welcome to
that, the
us.
building inspector, because Yeah, if they need a new sign permit, we're notified. And then it's determined whether it's
Yeah.
internally illuminated or not and needs to come before the board.
Okay.
All right, any comments or questions from the public? Okay, I will, I'll accept the motion.
Yeah. So, motion to approve the site plan for 7 Lewis Lane. Kevin,
Second?
In terms of further discussion, but we want to just make sure that we make it, that we get the light pole on
Yeah.
there with the dark sky. That's, we're all in agreement on
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Do we need to, Stephanie, do we need to change the motion to do that, or? we can-
You can say with the conditions
yeah,
that
with the conditions stipulated. I amend the motion.
All right. Then we have an amended second.
Amended second.
Okay, great. All right. Well then, let's have a vote. Kevin?
Aye.
Wolf?
Aye.
Weeks?
Aye.
Zigman?
Aye.
And Stetson's an aye as well. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good business.
Where did the lip go? It was cute.
It's very popular.
Okay. Next up is the public hearing at 531 Foundry,
I got something.
Hammerhead LLC. I think.
I got something to read.
Yep, please read us in.
All right, let me get to it. Sorry. Okay. Town of Easton notice of public hearing in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 41, Section 81T MGL. The Easton Planning and Zoning Board will hold a public hearing on Monday, September 16th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. at the Easton Town Hall, 136 Elm Street, and remotely over Zoom on the application received from Hammerhead LCC for a special permit multifamily under the Easton Town Code Chapter 2235, Zoning 235-56 Special Permit, and Appendix A2 Special Zoning Districts, Table of Use Regulations. Principal use is A, 3 multifamily dwellings to allow residential apartments at 531 Foundry Street, Easton, Mass. Assessor's Map 44U, Lot 37. The virtual meeting link will be contained within the posted agenda at least 48 hours in advance of the meeting. Copy of the application and the plan may be viewed on the town website.
All right. Thank you. And who will be presenting tonight?
I'm Gary Barnicky, Hammerhead LLC. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Nice to see you again. My engineer, Peter Lavoie from Landmark, had an emergency meeting he had to attend to. He said he was going to sign on by Zoom, and I don't know that he's on. So I'll,
And you guys notified us beforehand, isn't that, so do we, you guys sent an email. You know what, so if you would like, we can table this, maybe we can take the architectural review
Oh, yes.
first,
yes.
and then we'll go out of order and bring you guys back up.
Sure.
Is that your preference?
if we could get him on board, sure. Yeah.
That's fine.
We're fine with that.
That's fine with us. All right, so we'll table this for now. You can leave that right up there.
I'll give him a call, I'll see what kind of.
See if you can, yeah, if you can find out, that'd
Thank
be
you
great.
very much.
Of course. Okay, so we'll table that for a moment. Next up is the architectural review for 20 South Street, Old Forge Commons, flexible development. And then there's also the request for the change to plan, having to do with the cul-de-sac and the stone wall. On these ones, I think everyone knows that I've been recusing myself on this one, so I'm gonna step out of the room, I guess, and turn it over to Mickey.
All right. Do we have? Okay. I will do my best, Bob.
All right, I'm in there. Hi, guys. Good evening.
Mr. Humphries? Do you have a
Hello.
presentation for us, or?
Yes, I do.
All
So
right.
which one do we want, which is on for first? Because I have 3 items on there.
Let's do the architectural reviewer first, and then we can move to the next few.
Sure. So you'll see we have 5 houses coming up. One of it is an affordable. So we have lots 2, 4, 7, 17, and 19 are the houses that are coming for architectural review. I already met with Alan. Thank you, by the way, Alan, for coming out so quickly to do the meeting on the lots for the tree clearing. So that's out of the way.
All right. Did you want to put the plans up on the board or on the screen? Or if not,
Suzanne, I'm unfortunately extremely old, so I don't know how to do that. So Suzanne usually throws them up there. And you're gonna save me as usual?
I wasn't prepared to do that.
I don't know how to do
You
that.
can see in your computer, you can share.
Yeah,
I don't know how to do that.
do you have the documents up? There's a green button that says share, and then you click that, and then you click on your
Okay.
screen where the architecturals are.
All right, so go to do what now? Go to green button. Okay, did that. Oh, I don't know what that did. I don't know what I just did.
It
so it'll prompt you for give you a bunch of different choices on your screen as to what you
It
want to
will
share.
show, it will show what's open on, it should show what's open on your screen, and then you click, I'm assuming that you have the architectural plans.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I have them all ready to go, but I'm trying to see that on the bottom I have
It's easier.
stop video, participants chat, share screen.
Share screen.
All right,
Click on
share
share
screen.
screen.
All right, there we go. Okay, hold on one second. All right, so let me see. So now, which one do I go to? Do I go to file? I go to files. Hold on. I'm gonna go to. Yeah, I'm gonna get my wife to help me here. Hey, Kat, you help me with this here? Bear with me, guys. Sorry. So I did. It doesn't matter. I can bring them all up, but why does it have Dropbox here? Why?
No, you don't. Hold on.
Yeah, but I don't want.
All right, hold on.
So I have them on the desktop to talk.
Yeah.
So.
Mm.
So we want to go to desktop. Oh, desktop. There we go. You just had it. There you go. Desktop. Okay, and then we got to go to the slide over like this, maybe.
No, hold on.
There you go. All right. So, no, down here, down here. So these are the plans right here. So we got.
Which one are we doing first?
We're doing 219 right there. All right. Is that up there, guys?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. There we go. So this is 19. She's going to have to help me through this. So this is lot 19. And it has everything that you guys want to see. Has the, calls out all the siding, calls out the roof shingles, calls out the roofs, calls out the elevation of the proposed dwelling, 29. I think that says 29.8 for the elevation. So you can see on the front of the house has the typical, sorry. So the garage doors, you'll see we have nice garage doors, all 4/1, which we've been doing in all the houses in there. Has the metal roof that we do in there. And you'll see up above, we throw in a little board and bat, like we've been doing in the houses in here. This one has some nice lines to it. So that's lot 19. If you guys have any questions, just fire them at me. Here's the right side elevation. So on all the side elevations, we just go with the typical vinyl, the 4-inch standard seam vinyl siding that we go with. But you'll see all the windows are 4/1. This house has a pretty cool. It has a deck up on the primary. You see how the primary has that? That's pretty cool. And here's a rear elevation. You can see the deck on the back of the home,
I'm trying to figure out how high is this house.
29.6. And that's the other side elevation. You can see that's metal roof, so that's a standing seam metal roof. Shows the aluminum gutters. And all, you see these lights here, these are all the houses in here, I do the same lights over the garage doors. I supply them. And they match the street lighting, which is a nice concept that we're doing in there. So that's a floor plan. You don't need to see that. So that's 19. Hold on, wait. Want we go to the next guy?
Let me ask the board members, do you have any questions on lot number 19? All right, that's almost, you good?
No, I wanted to say, is all the drainage to the front of the house? The house is up high, right?
I'm sorry, Amos, what'd you say? I'm
I'm
sorry.
trying to figure out how high is the base of the house from the front.
We usually keep them up about 1.5 to 2 feet above the street. Not much higher, because the water table's
Yeah,
down deep.
I see it now. I'm using the magnifier on my.
Yeah, so what's fortunate in here, we have a very low water table. The water table in the north end of the subdivision's like 9 feet, and so it's great. We don't get any water in the basements. We do, we have, the gutters are all buried, and we do French drains and all that underneath the floors, but even with all the water we got this past winter, not even the French drain, the drainage pits didn't even get water in them, which is great, so.
No,
Yeah,
the reason I was asking is because the elevation of the house is important, but the elevation of the house itself also is important, depending
sure.
how high it is in relation to the abutters and everyone else.
So this house here, I can pull up the engineering if you want me to do that. It's probably, the house is about 55 feet off the street, and the front of the house is probably about 2 feet above street level.
Yeah, that's good. I have seen it.
Yep. Have you guys, so Alan was in the subdivision just last week when we did the walkthrough of the trees. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to go in there. I know Stephanie's been in there, but I wish the planning board would go in there because this is something that the town of Easton should be proud of. The subdivision is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. These are houses that, I'm not right now grandstanding or anything, but you got houses that are 1,800 to 2,500, some are a little bigger, but with the lots that are 1/3 acre to a half acre, these lots look fantastic. The houses are gorgeous. It's a beautiful subdivision, it's something we can all be proud of. And I've done, I don't know how many dozens of subdivision in Easton, but this one is special. It's a good one. So let me close this and go to the next guy. So that was 19. We're gonna go to 7, which is sort of the same the same house layout. Hold on.
That's. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. This house is a smaller version of that. Same sort of lines. A little different in the garage concept, garage doors, etc. So this is a front elevation, right side elevation, rear elevation, again, 4/1 windows. This is something we do a lot of. So you see there's a fireplace in the home right here. And what we'll do is we'll do these 3x2 windows on either side of the fireplace, these awning windows here. And then on the inside, we do built-ins on either side. Again, you're in a subdivision that are 1/3 to half acre lots. And in your living room, you want some privacy. So you go with a window that allows light in, but you're not looking at your neighbor. So we take that into consideration. So this is lot 17. I'm sorry, 7 rather. I'm sorry, 7. This is lot 7. This house is about 2,300 square feet. And I'll give you the elevations of hold on, let me give you the height of that one. Give me 1 second here, guys. So this one here is 29.8 also above the ground, above elevation. And you can see the nice detail we do here. So you got the metal, this one here has metal roofs over the garages where these are asphalt, where you can see my cursors over the front door. So this is asphalt here. Then we do some nice moldings here. So these are little brackets that come out, just give it some nice Carolina flair. Pretty house. And most of the front doors, I only do three different, what I did in the subdivision, I went with three different front doors. So I have, this is a 3/4 glass, so it's a 4-pane. And then I give them the choice of also doing a more of a country style door, which is up higher, it'll be 2 panes of wood, and then up above I'll have 4 windows. And then I also have a 3/4 with it's like a 16 pane that I do, but that's all so I'm trying to keep that same country feel. You know, like again, all of our houses in here have the farmer's porches with a nice trim. So that's what you see here. So this is number 7. Any questions, let me know and I'll continue. Just let me know what you want me to do, guys.
All right, board members, any questions on 7?
Nope.
All right,
All right.
all right, we're good. Want to move on to the next?
All right, so that's 19.7. This is 17. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a second. I'm sorry. This is 4. Sorry. Wait a second. Hold on. I got the wrong lot here. I did the wrong one. Hold on. Bear with me here. Damn. Why won't that do that? There we go. I have to close that. Hold on. All right. I gave you the wrong one. Hold on. There. Okay. This is lot number 4. This is lot 4. So this is front elevation. Let me give you the height of the building. Hold on. 27 feet 8 inches. And again, you see the flare with the 4/1 windows, this front door, the 4. And then you'll see the metal roof over the garage doors. And when I do the front porches too, this is what they look like. So we do all of the front boards are Trex. So everything's no maintenance. This is all these where the cursor is, this is all PVC. Windows all have PVC trim. And then this here is all PVC, Trex stacking. And then what we do underneath here, where you can see that, that all there is like it's a board and bat, like it's 1/2-inch thick PVC, which gives it a nice appeal. And you don't get the animals under there. There's all poured concrete under this, so the animals don't get in there. But it gives it's nice. It's not, you don't see just pressure treated. You see all this completely finished. And again, these are the lights that I put over every garage door. Everyone in there has the same light. And then I give them the choice in the carriage house doors. Some of them are double cross, single cross this way, some go in the other direction, some are 4 windows. So I give them all that different choices that they do in there. And you can see here, this is a nice water table in the front. Let's go on to the other. So that's a really nice farmhouse look. That's what we're trying to create in there. So here's the right side elevation. Again, you'll see these awning windows for privacy in the living room. And here's the rear. So this is the rear of the home. So you'll see here, there's no big deck on the back of the house. So what I give the people an option is they have a choice of either doing a big deck or they can do pavers. And if they go with the pavers, they can go with the larger area. So I offer them a deck that's like 16 by 12, but if they go with pavers, I can give them an area 16 by 22. So a lot of the people will go with the pavers. And again, low water table. So this is how it looks. So you have 2 steps out of the house and you do a nice patio out back, gas grills. We plumb for that. It's pretty nice what we can do out there. So that's the rear elevation. And here's the final side elevation. This is the garage side here. There you see here. And that is lot 4. Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, it looks like this unit is a lot closer to the neighbors than the rest of the units.
Lot close to the neighbors?
Yeah, to the other houses on the lot. It's very
No,
close
it's
to
not.
lot 5.
Not at all. Not at all. It's right in line with lot 3 and lot 5. It's the same frontage setback. And in the backyard, if you look for the neighbors, you don't see them. There's probably Alan, you were out there, you saw the tree cutting, lot 4. When we walked there, you can't even see the neighbors in the backyard.
You won't remember that, but
Yeah.
You're just
Yeah,
there.
the house wasn't there, so. I saw the stake foundation, I think, Bill.
Yeah, but you could see we were only clearing what was there. So initially, back last year, I did a walkthrough with the previous chair. And because lots 3, 4, 5, and 6, because of the elevation change in the back of the house, because some of them are half walkouts, we got approval to clear back about 100 feet off of the street so we could bring fill in, which we did do that, and went over that. And then just recently, I just met with Alan. We got to clean like about another 25 feet back behind the house. But you can't see any of the neighbors in the backyard. You can't see them. They're
no, the
300 feet
backyard
away.
is not a problem. It's more towards the front of the house.
I think there were trees on the lot lines
Yeah.
separating, providing a buffer.
Yeah.
If I remember this lot.
So I'm talking to you, addressing privacy of, it's a very, but it's a high density neighborhood anyways, but if something can be done to address privacy, it will be, this house is the one that, at least looking at the drawings.
Well,
Take a look.
their neighbors are, neighbor to the right and the neighbor to the left are approximately about 70 feet away. I don't understand your question, but this lot's a very private lot. They have nothing in the backyard you can see, and the neighbors to the right and the left, they're 70 feet away. It's like a regular conventional
Because of the
subdivision.
shape, the backyard is not a problem, but it's like a slice, so the front is a lot smaller.
So the front yard, the house is 50 feet off the street,
Yeah, I can
That-
remember.
which is not much. I can bring up the engineering in 2 seconds. You want me to bring up the engineering?
No,
I
it's
can-
not necessary. I'm just asking you to take a look at privacy and address it, that's all.
So in the neighborhood, when I go in there, I'm gonna be treeing all the front lots. All the lots are getting trees in the front, going through the subdivision when we get to that point, which will be this coming spring. And as you guys, the board members know, we started the first houses last year in May. And we've already got 14 houses up, and we're getting ready to start these 5. So this winter, we'll have 19 frames up. And we're still 4 or 5, we'll be 4 or 5 months from even being 2 years, and the subdivision will be almost complete. So in the spring, I will be doing the trees going through the road. I'm not doing it now because there's too much construction going in there. So if you go into that subdivision right now, there's 60, 70 people working there every single day. That's how we work. We're in there like a machine trying to get this thing done. And it's going well, but if you have concern, please come in and meet me in there. I don't see any issues with privacy or whatever in there. This thing was well thought out from the very beginning. I think it's a great plan. But if you have any issues, please come out and meet with me. I'll talk to anything about it, what you're talking about, but I don't see it being a concern right now.
Any other board members, any comments? I think the issue of privacy can just be kind of noted.
Sure.
Just making sure that every neighbor in the area has, abutters and whatnot have privacy. Do we want to move on to the next one?
Sure. So this is 4. Give me 1 second. So we did 19, 7. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did we do 19, 7? What did we do? 19, 7, and 4?
Correct.
Did we do 17?
No,
Not yet. You've got 2 and 17.
Okay, let's do, yeah, let's do that. Okay, 17 is coming up.
distance.
So 17 is a ranch, smaller house. So this is one of the smaller homes in the subdivision. This one's 1,700 square feet. Let me go to the front elevation. Here you go. So the height of this house is 20 feet 9 inches. Has a metal standing seam over the front farmer's porch. Carriage house doors. Board and bat over the garage. It's a ranch, but we like giving it these eyelash treatments here. So you got the little double mullion and over the front here, looks nice. This one here has the 4/1 front door. So that's front elevation there, farmer's porch. Right side of house. Let me just bring it down. So that's right side of house there. This one has a deck on the back. Again, the awning windows in the living room for privacy. Rear elevation is here. These plans, a lot of these houses have come before you. I've done, I think, 6 or 7 houses in here so far that the people do this here with the 10-foot sliders is pretty special. They love it. It's off the living room. So that's rear elevation. And then final left-hand elevation, so this is a garage door. And this right here is, so that's the primary bedroom right here. This is a primary bathroom. There's another bedroom here. And this is actually the stairway to the basement. We put light in there, which is pretty nice how we do that there. So this one here is like, this one again, this is a smaller home. Here's the footprint of it, just to show you what, let me just show you this here. It's pretty nice what we do. So I always do oversized garages. So the minimal garage size that I do in here is 24 by 24. That's inside dimension 23, 23. So I go 24 by 24. So you can put 2 pickup trucks in there. And you come in through the front door. You got a bedroom here, full bath that feeds that bedroom, and another bedroom here, laundry room here. And this is what's nice about these homes. This is what people love. Look at this room here, guys. Kitchen, dinette, living room. It's 32 by 16. And then off of this, so this is a older couple that's retired, bought this home. They got their master bedroom, primary bedroom right here. Off of that, big walk-in closet, big bathroom. I always do custom showers in there. So it's really a pretty cool. We've done already 3 of these sort of like house plants in there it's for like the empty nesters, I want to say, but it's a really popular plan. We've already, so lots 18, which we're closing on Friday, 5 and 6 are sort of mimicking this house plan. That's the basis they went off. The retirees love this plan. It's a nice house plan.
All right, board members, any question on 17?
Just a curiosity, Bill, is there a room over the garage? I see.
No, we just, so you're building a ranch, and in the subdivision, I'm doing all 10-pitch roofs. So 10-pitch roofs are very expensive to build, and when you do that, you're creating this big, giant roof, which is sort of ugly, but on the other hand, it makes the house look like it's a cape. So that's why we do it. So no, there's no room up there at all. And there's not that much ceiling height. It's probably like, you could put a room up there that's probably 24 by 8, but why would you do it? It's just a look. And that's why we also do this here. That you see where the cursor is here. So we put that dormer up there, and it's just for look. But it's a ranch, but it looks like a cape. It looks bigger than it is. It's pretty. It's a nice looking design.
So that dormer just lights the downstairs room like a.
Lights nothing. It's just attic. It's attic space.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and with the new, because we're a stretch code town.
Got it.
We're a stretch code town, and being a stretch code town, the typical insulation in the attic is an R60, which is 20 inches of insulation. So even if you have 2x10s up there, you still got another 12 inches of insulation above it. So you can't do anything up there. It's just an enormous amount of insulation. But, not to bend you guys' ears, but I know you got a long night. So I lived in the subdivision. I'm in here. I'm 64 Old Forge. My house is 2,500 square feet. And with all this stretch code stuff, my heating bill in the winter is about 180 bucks. And my electric bill in the summer with 2 air conditioning units running on 2 floors is about, and I have 3 refrigerators. I have a refrigerator drawers, refrigerator in the kitchen, one out of the garage. My electric bill is about 160 bucks for a 2,500 square foot house. So this HERS stuff is pretty amazing.
All right, thank you, Mr. Humphries. Can you show us lot 2?
Yep, you got it. I take up your time, guys. All right, so this is the affordable. It sort of mimics 4, but it's a smaller home. So it has the same roof line here. Let me get you the elevation. Hold on one second, please. All right, so that is 24 feet, 11 and 9/16. Unbelievable, 11 and 9. So it's 25 feet high, the roof pitch on this house here. And farmer's porch again. Coachman doors, 4 light window here, 4/1 windows. You can see here, we got the board and batten siding. I'll just keep going not to hold you up. So this is the right-hand side. Rear elevation. And the left side elevation. And here's the layout for it. So this is a smaller affordable. This is the 3-bedroom, not the 4-bedroom. So it's a really nice plan. So you come in through the garage, living room, dining room, kitchen, all that open concept that everybody loves. Then in the front, you have a den office, half bath. Go up to hold on, 2nd floor. Come up the staircase here. You have a large area here, hallway. You have 2 bedrooms in the back, full bathroom, and this is the primary here. It's a really nice floor plan. Somebody's going to be very lucky owning this home. And that's lot 2, guys.
Board members, any questions on lot 2?
Oops, went the wrong way.
Stephanie,
Sorry.
does this need a vote or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, the board needs to vote to approve the plans.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the architectural review?
Motion to approve the architectural review, Kevin.
Second.
Second, Sigmund.
She could have it.
All right,
She beat me.
okay. Kevin,
Aye.
Weeks,
Aye?
Zigmund,
Aye.
and Wolf is an aye as well. All right,
Hey,
thank you, Mr. Humphries.
only one more. Only
Yep,
one more,
yes,
guys. One more.
Now we have you that change to plans. Stephanie, would you like to do that next?
That's fine. I will let
Okay.
Mr. Humphrey explain what he is proposing.
Yep. I gotta figure out how to make my screen bigger. Hey, Kath? Need help? Sorry, guys. So right now, your screen is over on the right side of my computer. It's only like 2 inches by 5 inches, and I don't want to hit the wrong button and lose you guys. So what do I do now? I gotta make the screen bigger. That's the mute button. Just muted me.
Can't discard that.
No, you muted me.
No.
Guys, can you hear me right now?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. Is it that one there, the 9 bars maybe? The big bars there? No. How about this one up here? Right here.
What's this right here?
What? Don't do that one.
All right, that'll end.
How about the arrow right there, that arrow?
You know.
All right, all right, all right.
So what are you trying to do?
I guess all right. Gee, hold on. It's a small screen. Can you guys see me okay?
We can see you. Are you trying to share a plan for the cul-de-sac for the?
Yeah, my screen's minimal. I can't.
Okay. Is there a way that you can take his permission away to share?
I'm sorry, why do we want to take away his permission
Oh,
to
I'm saying
share?
no, just have him stop sharing. Sorry.
Oh,
Not take away permission, but stop sharing. He's just trying to make the screen bigger, I believe.
Oh, wait, I figured it out. Hold on. Yippee. There we go. Hold on, almost there. No, yeah, I gotta show them pictures of, I didn't download those pictures, so I might have to do it at the next meeting. Guys, I didn't, no. Oh, the subdivision?
The
Oh, my
pictures
bad,
that
he
you,
wanted to share. I'm sorry. I thought he was trying to stop sharing.
So, we can do it at the next meeting, guys. I know you're busy. So I'll do it at the next meeting if I can continue because I didn't download the cul-de-sac picture. So can we do it the next meeting?
I don't see it in the binder.
I have the cul-de-sac letter. I
The
just
letter's
don't have
right here.
any images to
We
go
don't have
along
an
with
image
it.
of it.
Okay.
I don't think I did the pictures. I don't think I did.
I mean, I think the letter's pretty self-explanatory. If you want to discuss it, then.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I think,
yeah.
so basically, my understanding is that the plan was approved with granite curbing around the cul-de-sac, and Mr. Humphrey would like to instead do a Cape Cod berm, which is the rolled asphalt.
Okay.
So you see it everywhere. And it would seem that that would be a reasonable request, considering the granite curbing is certainly used a lot more in streets that are more heavily used, a separation to sidewalk. This is really just within this cul-de-sac, within this subdivision, so.
Can you explain what is the road?
It's, so, Amos, when you see a road that the side berm is not granite, but it's that rolled
The asphalt road.
asphalt.
Slope.
Yes, it
Slope.
rolls up and
Slope.
becomes the berm.
What will do that to the drainage? Anything?
No, it should still redirect it because the edge should still be located in the same location that was part of the roadway plan.
What is behind the road? Is there a curb?
It will be filled, it's filled with soil, with,
Soil.
yes, with earth,
It's just like
right, Bill?
rolled
It's,
asphalt,
Yeah.
part of the.
Yeah, can I-
It's going to be a
Can I
landscape.
put-
Granite stone sitting on top at an angle.
Yeah.
Stephanie, can I go explain why I had this? So, a lot of subdivisions that we've done in town, what'll happen is with the slope granite, which is basically, it's not vertical granite, it's slope granite. So it's like a 3-inch piece by 8-inch piece of granite. And when you're doing it around a circle, so this is a smaller, it's still a league, it's still a good, it's a adequate size circle, but it's smaller. It's the smaller size that the town will allow. And the road's only a 20-foot road. It's very tight and it's a winding road. And as I said in my letter, even though we like it like that because it keeps traffic flow down, people don't speed because the road's so windy. But when the big trucks come in here, the Amazon trucks, the trash trucks, etc., and they come around that winding road, they misinterpret their angles that they're doing, and they keep driving over the cul-de-sac, the inside part that's going to be landscaped. So we're going to be mulching that. I'll probably do like 4 foot of grass around it, then mulching the inside of that, and then bushes, etc. Can't put trees in there because the fire department doesn't want that. In case there's ever a fire, they're going to drive through, they don't want to hit a tree. But the problem that when the cars come in there, they're going to hit the granite, and when a circle is that tight, what happens is the slope granite, you have to cut it like in 2-foot lengths to make that angle because it's so tight, and you only can put concrete behind the seams. So every 2 feet, you're just going to have a blob of concrete, and then it's going to be dirt. And when you hit it with your car or vehicle, it's going to knock it over, and water's going to get in, and then the plows are going to knock them over like dynamos. So I figured if we went with the Cape Cod berm there, which still pushes the water to the drainage properly, they can't hurt it. And since it's a private road, we, the homeowners, are going to be paying for fixing this granite all the time. And I really feel it's going to be an issue. Doing this for 41 years, I noticed this, I didn't come before you with this, I just came for you now because I'm noticing all the trucks coming around the curb are driving over that berm and they're gonna knock them all over. So I just think it's smart planning that we do Cape Cod instead of the granite, because I really feel it's gonna end up in somebody's front yard.
All right, thank you, Mr. Humphries. Board members, any other questions? No? Joanne, you're all set?
Yep, I'm good.
All right. Do we need to vote on this change of plan? Or-
So what I think Mr. Humphrey is asking for is an insignificant change, a determination that this is an insignificant change to the plan and that the board vote to accept a revised plan showing, I would strongly suggest that the plan be revised to show the Cape Cod berm instead of the granite curbing.
All right.
But I think the board could vote to determine that it's an insignificant change.
All right, do I have a motion?
So moved, Sigmund?
To determine that this is a indeterminate change.
All right, and revised plans to show.
Revised
show
plans
such?
to show.
All right. Weeks, second.
Kevin second.
All right. Roll call. Kedem,
Aye.
Weeks,
I
Sigmund,
Aye.
and Wolf is an aye as well. All right. We're moving on to the stone wall. Mr. Humphries, do you have anything to present to the board on this?
I downloaded photos to Suzanne and I screwed it up, but she helped me. And I'm sorry, not downloaded, uploaded. She always tells me I don't know what I'm talking about. So I uploaded them and I did that wrong. And she uploaded them. So do you guys have those or should I go hunting for these?
We
There
do.
are photos in the
Yep.
binder.
Yeah,
We have them
we have
as
them.
part of our binder. Do you wish to provide kind of a narrative to go along with them?
Yes, please. So when I built the subdivision, there were farmers, we call them farmers walls throughout the subdivision. And there's one that was on the front of the property, on the west side that ran up the property line. It ran all the way up to the driveway. And when we built the subdivision, we obviously had to remove the farmer's wall to put the road in. And then we have to remove more of it to put in telephone pole, sidewalks, utilities, etc. And then the last 20 feet, there's a drain manhole cover that are in the pictures that's right up against where the tree clearing is. That has to be exposed. You can't cover up a drain man cover because if there's a problem, you can't get to it. So one of the neighbors said to me that it was a historical wall and it should be preserved and put back up, etc. But that's just that one wall. What about all the other walls that are through the subdivision that I had to remove? All the other farmers' wall. There's a farmers' wall. If you look on the plan, you'll see farmers' wall going between lots 19 and 20. There's other farmers' walls that are running throughout the subdivision that I had to remove to build a subdivision. But all of a sudden, this one wall, he's the neighbor, and he's saying it's a beautiful historical wall. So I've had board members out there and shown them the wall, and it's like, they're just rocks that are sticking, like sometimes you'll see two rocks, one rock, no rock, then three rocks, etc. And I don't see any significance to it. Yes, it is on the plan, but so aren't all the other walls that are in the subdivision. I'm not being a wise guy, but do we want to build all those other walls that go right through the road in Old Forge? Or is this determined as being a farmer's wall? Now, these farmers' walls are all throughout Easton. They're not historical walls, they're farmers' walls. That's what they delineated their properties to do that. There's literally tens of thousands of feet of these things through Easton that are everywhere. They're not any historical significance, they're farmers' walls. So if I had to rebuild some of these rocks, all I can do is rebuild like about 6 feet till I get to that drainage manhole cover. And then the other area, I gotta fill all up because it's low and if you look at the plan, it all supposed to be filled up, which I wanted to do. But what I'd really like to do on that wall there is I'd like to landscape that area, and then I'd like to put in some nice trees going along that as a buffer. So the new homeowner that buys has a buffer, so they're not looking out onto South Street. That's what I'd like to do, and that's what I intended to do. But if you guys feel that I need to throw some rocks back on the ground there, I'll do it, but it just doesn't, I don't see it. It just won't look right, and I can't put it on top of the drainage covers. So what am I gonna put in? Come out 5 feet to the drain manhole cover and then put 15 feet or more rocks? It doesn't make sense. And it's, one abutter just keeps on, telling me that farmer's wall, and he's showing me pictures of a horse, and I just, I don't know. I want to be a good neighbor, but I don't see it being historical. So I've had members out there, and that's why I wanted to come before you guys. I want to put this to bed, guys. It just keeps coming up.
All right, thank you, Mr. Humphries. Board members? Any comments before I turn it over to the public? Alan,
I've seen it.
yeah, did you had a chance to make a site visit?
I did.
Okay.
I think Bill's correct in that there is a sewer drain cover directly in line with where the wall would be that can't be covered over.
Okay.
The existing wall terminates about maybe 5 or 6 feet from that sewer drain, which will have to be, left for access.
Mm-hmm.
So if anything, it would be a fairly short section that could be reconstructed, and I don't think it would look appropriate to then, leave 3 or 4 feet and then continue the wall after the drain. I don't think it would look right. When I went to see the wall, I didn't notice the long section of the wall that went down the street. It's completely overgrown with ivy and all kinds of underbrush, so I don't know who was maintaining it. Some of the photos made it look like it was a nice country wall, but I couldn't see a wall much past where the demolition had been taking place. It was all just covered with ivy and whatnot. So.
Thank you. Yes. So we're going to read that. We have a request to read that in. All right. Before we go on, Joanne or Amos, do you want to comment now or just?
No.
Okay. All right. So before we kind of open this up to the members of the public here, we do have a letter to be read in. One of the abutters would like to read this in because they're not able to be here tonight. Do you want me to read it in, or can it just be moved to be read in, or what is the best way to do this?
Is it in the packet? Is it this letter right?
Yep.
I thought I saw it. Hold on.
Yeah, it says, please accept this email in our absence. I respectfully request this letter be read in this meeting in our absence.
Okay. Would you like me to read it?
I don't mind if you want me to do it. I don't care. All right. Maria Wilson specifically asked in a planning meeting on July 11th, 2022, at 1 hour, 23 minutes, 57 seconds in, whether the stone wall in question would be disturbed. Greg Strange responded live on the Zoom call, preservation of the wall would be a condition of the permits of approval. I asked, did the board make the permit conditional or not? When the wall is replaced, how will its weathered appearance be addressed by the contractor? It's important to note the many existing historical stone walls in and around the neighborhood project project a distinct feel and ambiance that cannot be replaced by common eastern white pine trees, as the contractor has stated is his intention to use in place of the stone walls. I also want to emphasize residents of the area have taken it upon themselves at expense to maintain the village's historical charm, including landscaping integrity of the area to their own volition. Replacing the walls also acts as a needed visual cue for drivers not to miss the turn in the road as distracted drivers currently do on a regular basis. An obvious safety issue currently exists with distracted drivers missing the turn, with many children playing in and around the intersection. In closing, we find it very disheartening the contractor has attempted to choose this path, and we once again ask for your support. An additional issue, the attached footage shows the property line wall damage adjacent to the Old Forge Commons Drive in 16th South Street. The developer damaged the wall over 1 year ago and will respectfully request it be repaired this fall before the stones are lost. Thank you, Marie and Rob Wilson, 16 South Street. All right, I'd like to, are any members of the public wishing to speak? If you come to the mic and, oops, I'm sorry. Okay. Mr. Humphries, could you please stop sharing your screen?
How do I do that?
Suzanne, I think you can do that.
Oh, I got it. I see it up the top. There you go. Sorry.
If you could please identify yourself, name and address, please, before you begin the presentation.
Dale Carrister, 21 South Street. I've been a resident at 21 South Street since 1993, so we're well over 30 years. As you know, I've submitted a detailed letter with photographs outlining the position. It's been signed by 14 folks from the neighborhood. And I want to just address a little bit first just about the chronology of how we bring ourselves here today. I endeavored to get this issue resolved so it wouldn't require any involvement of the planning and zoning, but those efforts were unsuccessful. I'd like to direct your attention to the plans themselves that were submitted, the endorsed plans as approved by this board. They actually show the stone wall on the property borderline right in that area. So in other words, on the plans that were submitted, and it's pages 2 and 7, and I can pull it up if you like. I have it here.
If you could, yeah, if you could
sure.
please pull them up because we don't have them in front of us.
Right.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So you'll see on this, I believe this is page 2 of the plans. There's a table on the bottom that identifies, I'll zoom one more time, that identifies the oblong circular shape as being the existing stone wall. And as you'll note, it's actually shown by their surveyor as being on the property line. So frankly, I don't think that the applicant has any right to remove those in any event, separate and apart from the conditions and so forth, because it's actually on the property line, just as I don't have the right to remove stone walls in my backyard where it identifies the border of the property line with my neighbor. On pages 2 and 7 of the plans, it actually shows this as the, if you look here, this is showing on page 2, the lot itself, and then I'll scroll down to page 7 where it actually shows the house lot on it. One moment. And on both of these plans, it shows the existing wall remaining. In other words, there's no reference, nor was there ever any approval sought to actually remove any portion of the stone wall for any purpose, frankly. Here we show, I believe it's page 7 of 17. And on this one, again, you can see it's lot 1, and again, so it's actually showing the configuration of the house, and again, still showing the existing stone wall remaining. And that's what was approved by this board. But first and foremost, it actually shows that by their surveyor with their plans, the border of the property is actually where, running right through where the stone wall is located. So I would submit, separate and apart from the other reasons that this stone wall cannot be removed, but unless the town were to agree to do so, because it is on the borderline itself. Secondly, the plans themselves, as one of the conditions of this board's decision, was that any change to plans must be submitted to the Planning and Zoning Board for approval. So separate and apart from the issue of this stone wall being the actual borderline, it would require a vote of this board to approve any change in plans. And we would argue that this would be a material change to plans. Many of these board members here were not present as part of the permitting process. This has been going on for a number of years. Our neighborhood was very actively involved with this. And I want to just play for you briefly just the audio of what was referenced in the Wilson's letter of the actual hearing that took place in, I believe it was July 11th, 2022, in which the question was asked, in which the statement was expressly made that the preservation of the stone walls was a condition of this permit. So I'm just going to play that so you can hear it directly.
So my next one is the stone walls. I just want to, the stone walls that surround the Buckley property currently are beautiful. They are covered in shrubs and trees, and I want to make sure that those stone walls are going to be preserved.
They are, and that's a condition of the approval.
Okay, my next one.
So that was Mr. Strange, who was the chair of the board at the time. And in the letter, I provided you with the link where you can find the actual ECAT recording of that meeting. And if you go later, and I can play it as well, but it takes a few minutes, but if you go later, it actually was stated that when the board voted in approval of this plans, it was on the basis of all of the conditions that have been stated during that hearing were to be adopted. Now, I would call it as a lawyer a scrivener's error, but some of that condition did not show up in the actual written decision. I actually would ask that this board amend its decision to reflect that condition so that not only this stone wall must be replaced, but also for the surrounding stone walls that they not be removed. And I'm not aware that I hadn't been on the back of the property before, but I was not aware of other stone walls that may have been removed. But frankly, if they were, they don't show up in the plans.
Point of order, please. Point of order.
You can,
You can't, if you'll please wait just one moment, Mr. Humphries, you'll have a chance to speak. We're going to let Mr. Carrister speak.
All right, this is regarding the same plan that he's putting out on 7 of 7 of plan 7 of 17 that he knows of another
We're
stone
going to
wall.
wait just 1 minute and let
Okay.
Mr. Carrister speak, and then I'll give you an opportunity again, please. Okay?
Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. Mr. Carrister?
So the next part of the chronology is on March 30th, 2023, I came home from work and was frankly horrified to see that all of that portion of the stone wall had been removed without any advance notice, and to my understanding, without any advance approval by the town to remove that stone wall. And I understand some portion of that stone wall may have needed to be removed in order to construct the drainage easement, but there's a 15-foot wide drainage easement there. So there's no reason why that drainage easement had to be placed in the area of the stone wall. Secondly, but it is what it is, I would note that that area was used for a number of months as an actual primary access to the site when they were doing work on the road. So there were trucks traversing back and forth on that. I reached out to Ms. Danielson, on the following morning and had an email exchange with her. And in my letter, I referenced what that discussion was, and I just want to read for a moment the email that I received in response to the one that I sent on March 31, 2023. It said, approximately 40 feet of the wall that has been permanently removed just to accommodate the sidewalk at the entrance of the subdivision. And just separate apart from that, I have no problem with it. I understand that needed to be removed in order for the road and the sidewalk. But then the email further said, the portion removed beyond that is temporarily removed to accommodate installation of the portion of the drainage system tying into the existing public drainage. And this email was copied to Mr. Humphrey, and I didn't receive any further communication with him. I don't know what communications took place between Ms. Danielson and Mr. Humphrey surrounding that. But we understood, consistent with what had taken place at the public hearing, is that that portion of the wall would be, in fact, restored and replaced. And thereafter, on June 13th of this year, I work from home a fair amount, so I'm right in that corner looking out over that area. I saw that they were performing some jackhammering of the rocks that had been piled near that area. I don't know whether that included the rocks that had been part of the stone wall or not, but I asked that the jackhammering stop until this board could weigh in. That process continued. As far as I understand, those rocks that were part of that historic wall are long gone, and I would say my understanding is that stone wall was put in likely in the early 1800s when you look at the age of the surrounding homes in the area. And as far as I know, those rocks, are no longer there. Notwithstanding my request that jackhammering and removal stop until this board had an opportunity. On July 26th, I also reached out to Mr. Humphreys asking that we have an opportunity to speak directly, and I gave him my availability. He acknowledged receipt of the text message, questioned who it was from. He said his contacts had been deleted. I confirmed, but my offer to discuss this directly was ignored and didn't receive any response. I'm asking this board to require Mr. Humphreys to restore that portion of the wall, and it's not just 5 or 6 feet. It's running from where the wall now terminates because of the remaining part and all the way up to where the sidewalk would be. It's probably more like 40 feet, if not more, that needs to be replaced. And I'm asking for the following reasons. Number one, it's a border with the town, should not have been removed for that reason. Number two, it's on the plan showing that it remains, and any amendment to the plan would require this board's approval, and I would request that the board not approve allowing that wall to have been removed. It was expressly stated also to be a condition of the permit that all of the stone walls would be removed. Whatever's taking place on the backside of the property between certain lots, that's not my concern. My concern is that portion of the stone wall that immediately abuts South Street that is such a crucial and important part of this neighborhood. This was a beautiful, historic stone wall that somebody back in the 1830s or so, put up to demarcate the border of their property. And it's endemic throughout Easton. It's important. I want to show a few pictures, if I may, to direct your attention. So this is the area, and you now look, and you can see the sewer area there. This should not be driving this decision where they opted to put that right over here. First of all, by my viewing of this, the stone wall can come and pass without going over that manhole cover. Second, if it can't, it should just be a little jog in the stone wall and going around. And it should run all the way up to the point of where the sidewalk comes in, which we understand is on the other side of where this utility pole is. And the utility pole was placed where it was because it was necessary in order to provide sufficient access for the sidewalk that will run up along the entrance into the neighborhood. I wanted to show you what this is not just a matter of a pile of rocks. This was an absolutely beautiful stone wall. This is what it looked like just a few years ago. That's my fence. You see the turkeys here and so forth, and you can see the same mailbox in the distance, and you see what this was a substantial, beautiful, historic stone wall. And frankly, it's a shame that it was removed and that those rocks were not at the minimum preserved so that they can be restored with a historic patina for those rocks. Here's another picture taken some years ago, and you can see the stone wall running again. Again, your point of reference, the mailbox is here, and you can see the stone wall going back. I personally, actually, with Mr. Buckley's approval, had actually maintained this for years and years. I cut the grass, again, with his permission in this area here, and make sure he didn't have any problem with it. And the town periodically would do its trimming as it periodically does in order to keep that. To the extent that it looks like it's overgrown now, well, that's been frankly during the current owner's ownership of it. That's not how it typically had been before. This is another view of what it looked like and how beautiful it was. Yet another view. This was and always has been a very important part of this historic neighborhood, part of the Furnace Village area, a recognized historic area in town. Now, I want to just direct your attention to some other pictures taken on the street. So as you'll notice in the letter, so this is just down a little bit further. So in this view, you're looking north on South Street. So 106 is behind me when taking the picture. Up in the upper corner on the right-hand side is where the property is. And so this is a stone wall that was, you can see it looked like. On the immediately to the next to it on this part of the property here, which is part of Fran Masters' property, yes, is the stone wall, just some rocks on the ground and everything. Yes, that's accurate. And some of the pictures that were submitted by Mr. Humphreys actually are not on the part of showing his property, but actually were on the part of Fran's property.
Okay, Dale, just to give you a heads up, I'm just going to give you about 2 more minutes just because I want to have everybody have opportunity to comment.
Sure.
Okay, thank
Fair
you.
enough. Yeah, I'm almost done.
All right.
But let me just show quickly some of the other pictures. This is on the opposite side, looking towards Route 106. And again, you can see the stone wall on either side and with the old pillars there for the entrance. This is looking from Peconicut, and you'll see a stone wall on your left. There's also one on the right. This is looking towards the development in the back. This is looking from with the property being developed on my back. This is close to my driveway, and you can see beautiful stone walls on either side. That's what this area is all about. Stone walls pretty much running almost the entirety of South Street and on occasion on both sides. You'll notice also there's a stone wall that this was referenced in the Wilsons on the development side coming in. So in other words, this is the border with Mr. Wilson's property. And so having a restoration of the stone wall will be consistent with the look that they have there in any event. Mr. Humphrey said, he would abide by this board. So if they wanted him to put it back, we're asking that the board do that. And when I brought this issue to his attention by text message, I think this was on June 13th when the rocks were being removed, the response I got is, unfortunately, it's my property and there's nothing in the order of conditions saying a wall has to be reconstructed. I'm installing trees on my property and I don't want a crappy looking stone wall there. This is not a crappy looking stone wall. It's an important part of who we are in Easton. It's historic, and frankly, I view ourselves as being stewards for these types of things, and historical resources and preservation thereof is one of the reasons that is referenced in the purpose for the flexible development to begin with. And shame on us if we let this go and not requiring that stone wall to be replaced. I would further note that on the issue of trees or stone wall, you cannot put trees, I understand, because of things on top of where you have the drainage there. I'm not an expert in this area, but my understanding is you can't plant trees in that area. It doesn't need to be an either or. It can be both. And I love the fact that it wants to put some trees in there. When I found out about this development 3 or so years ago, I started putting trees in to put my own privacy buffer. It's not his obligation to provide a buffer for me. We would ask that this board hold Mr. Humphreys accountable for being a good neighbor for this area and require that the stone walls be replaced and running from where they now terminate after having been removed up to the point where the sidewalk would appear. And we also think, frankly, the board should, in light of the Scrivener's error, should modify its and have a corrected decision to reflect that the stone walls cannot be removed, so that this doesn't happen elsewhere around the property, that other historic stone walls, for example, on the border with the condominiums, are not removed as well. So thank you very much for your attention.
All right, thank you, Mr. Carey. Before I open it up to any of the members of the public, I apologize, Stephanie, I didn't give you a chance to comment earlier. Okay. I didn't know if you had any thoughts.
I have nothing to add.
Okay. Are any other members of the public wishing to speak? You'll please go to the mic and just give your name and address.
My name is Justin Lee Winter. I live at 479 Bay Road. I'm the owner of the oldest home in the town of Easton. These stone walls are our cultural heritage. They are one of the largest public, well, not public, they're used as public boundaries for now. But they were one of the largest works projects right after the revolution. These things are historically significant in multiple ways. There's hundreds of thousands of miles of these. And I am originally from Long Island, New York. Almost the entirety of 18th and 19th century history in New York has been decimated. And I moved here to Easton because it was very good at preserving your history. And I was fortunate enough to buy a piece of that history. And unfortunately, if you start piecemealing it, it'll all be gone within 2 generations. Just like when the first colonists came here, every single tree was gone within 50 years. So if you can do your piece to save this, you'll save it for future generations. Because not only did colonists build this, migrants and immigrants built this from all over the world. And it'll be gone. And your children won't see it, your grandchildren won't see it, and it'll be a shame. It'll be quite a shame. I'm fortunate enough that I live in South Easton, and I'm in a historic district where these things are kind of more protected, but I asked the town that with where this is, that it be rebuilt. It just cannot be, once it's gone, it can't be rebuilt, unfortunately, to what it was with the missing patina on the stones. And I also ask that you ask Ed Hands and the other people in town, like the Town Historical Society, Historical Commission, to look at it and make their determinations, and I hope you confer with them. That's all.
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Is there, Mr. Humphries, I'll give you a chance to speak in just a moment. I did promise that, but I do want to see if any other members of the, please come up to the mic. Your name and address.
I'm Fran Masters. I live at 36 South Street, right next to the subdivision. And yes, the Stonewall, we moved there in 1985 and loved that it was a historic district. And it's very sad that that's been taken away. It was also pointed out, I don't know if it was in Mr. Carrister's letter or Mr. Wilson's, that it's sort of a safety thing too. It kind of demarcates the subdivision from the bend on South Street and lets you know that that's a different area. And I found already with that removed that cars are coming straight across South Street and zooming into the subdivision without even seeing that you're not supposed to go straight there. So I would request that for historical reasons as well as safety issues that the stone wall be restored. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, are there any other member of the public wanting to speak before I give Mr. Humphries a chance to comment? Mr. Humphries, I'm going to give you, if I can limit you to 2 minutes, please, to kind of respond, and then I'm going to open it back up to the board.
Sure. Thank you. So one of the abutters, the first one that got up and talked, he said, which was interesting, he said sheet 7 of 17, you'll show the stone wall on it, and it shows it there, and it's supposed to be rebuilt. If he's saying sheet 7 of 17, why isn't he talking about the other stone walls that are on the same plan? Seems a little odd that he's not talking about 200 feet away, other stone walls that are on the property that I had to remove to put the road in. He says that they didn't, those don't bother him, but they're only 200 feet away. So there's farmer's wall that run all through this subdivision I had to remove to put the road in. But all of a sudden, this one out in front, and then he's saying all about why did the drainage have to go there? Because that's where it was approved to go. And the town worked with us on that. So I worked with Mr. Swan on this, on where he wanted the drain manhole cover to go. So I'm working with the town. They wanted it there. So it's the town property and my property. So we had to do that to build it. So I don't want to make this long, but he said that he contacted me a bunch of times and I wouldn't get back to him. He walks into the property all the time. He's walking all over the lots that are under construction. Stephanie and I met with the engineer from the town. The rocks that are there on lot 2 are there because they're coming out from all the other lots. And lot 2 is a designated lot we're using to crush the rocks to get them out of there because there's so much rock in the soil. That's why those rocks are there. And I'm not going to stop construction on rocks because one of the neighbors is concerned about the rocks. Construction has to continue so I can get this built in 2 years like I told the town I would do. So all these things that he's saying, that the pretty pictures, etc. Like I just had one of the abutters came up, Fran just came up. She doesn't have any stones in front of her property. So why is she so affectionate on these stones that are running through the woods on my property? I had to remove those walls. And then obviously Dale also mentioned, oh, the rocks only stop right at the telephone pole. You put them right up there. The sidewalk goes 25 feet past the telephone pole. If you look on the plan, it goes 25 feet past the telephone pole. There can't be rocks in a public walkway. So he's saying it could be 40 feet past. I just did the math on it. It's 20 feet of wall. So you want me to put up 20 feet of wall? I'll put up 20 feet of rocks that are just piled up if you want, but it just doesn't make sense. I have drainage issues over there also. I have to get the water to drain properly. I have to fill that property up. So the wall would have to come out anyway. So now I'm gonna have to build up the property and put these rocks up at a higher elevation. I've walked through this with Stephanie before and the town engineer and other people on the planning board. I'm not being a tyrant here. It just doesn't work. It's a farmer's wall. It's being completely changed. And if I have to raise the thing 2 feet out of the ground, it just doesn't make sense. So I'm doing the right thing here. I'm trying to build a subdivision. I'm getting a lot of abutters, a few abutters, 3 of them, that keep giving me a hard time over this. And I think we're doing a great job. But I'm just very frustrated, guys. I'm doing everything the right way. He keeps saying this is a historical wall. It's a farmer's wall. Another gentleman got up there and said there's thousands and thousands of feet of it. Yes, there are. They're farmers' walls. They're not historical. You can talk to Ed Hands about it. I have talked to Ed Hands. They're not historical. They're farmers' walls. They're used to separate property lines.
All right,
Now,
Mr.
the
Humphries,
nice,
I'm gonna
if
ask
I
you
could
just
just
to
finish.
wrap it up.
If I could just finish, the wall going down along my property line is a beautiful wall that was built by the owner of the property, and that's gorgeous, and it's falling apart, and I'm fixing it. But the other walls are just rocks. But thank you, guys.
All
Appreciate it.
right, thank you for your comments. Board members?
May I have 30 seconds to respond?
I'm just gonna end comments now, because I don't think it's gonna be productive, the back and forth. So I'm gonna throw it out to the board members and see if folks have comments here.
I gave you my observations.
Okay. All right, Joanne?
I think it's a difficult issue because, so first and foremost, I think not having been involved in the initial site plan for this whole development, I feel like this is a discussion that, sounds like had taken place at that time. And I know that, I forgot his last name, I'm sorry, but Mr. Dale pointed out that the chair at the time had mentioned that the stone walls would stay. Stephanie, I don't know if you can clarify more on that. It obviously didn't make it into the paperwork. Was that just the chair saying that at the time, do you know? Or was there actually like a motion or a condition that had been stated to be included as part of that just maybe didn't get in there?
It was in fact a statement it was a question that was asked by Mrs. Wilson, a comment that had been made. My recollection is the stone walls were talked about probably a couple of times. It wasn't necessarily the primary focus of the discussion. There was a lot of discussion about how the driveway kind of formed a country lane. There were trees. It was a tree-lined driveway, and having the development have that type of look. Mr. Humphrey did talk about the fact that he is going to plant trees, and I've had conversations with him multiple times about having some trees along that line the road from the entrance, not necessarily all the way through the subdivision, but that again just gives that appearance of a country road. The stone wall requirement didn't make it into the decision. Of course, one of the things that Mr. Carrister pointed out, and he's correct, that throughout the plans, you see the stone wall still shown, even on the proposed plans, but you also see on the proposed conditions plan the stone wall extending across the road, which of course the board did not intend for the stone wall to extend across the road.
Thanks for explaining that, Stephanie. Oh, sorry. I said thank you, Stephanie. I don't know, Amos, you had your hand up.
Oh, no, that was, we had someone did from Town Hall, from ECAT, trying to get the visual back up. Can you see us now?
Yeah, I can see
Okay.
you. Did you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry for that awkward pause. That was more of an internal thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was present on that meeting and other meetings we had with other development in which we defended these walls many times. I think we need to recognize that we failed to put that on the decision as a board. So it would have been more clear than just on a drawing. But that's a drawing I signed. And my signature went to that wall shown on the plan. Should have never been taken down. Therefore, my strong opinion is needs to put back. It cannot be put back on the exact same way that was before. It needs to put back in a way in which we reflect the character that that wall gave this corner of this historical neighborhood. And that is my position.
Thank you, Amos.
And there is one other comment I would like to make. I believe Mr. Carrister referred to it as historical walls, which in fact they are. And Mr. Humphrey argued that they weren't historic because they were just farm field walls. But that doesn't mean that they don't have some historic significance to the area.
Thank you, Stephanie.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can we engage the historical preservation and ask the question so it is also supported by the entity in town that deal with these things?
That was going to be my question, but because
Yeah.
I'm on that board as well, I didn't know if I could ask that question.
I think we should.
Yeah.
Given the discussion and the request, I think we should reinforce.
Is it possible to refer this?
Well, again, Mr. Carrister pointed out, and he and I had this conversation, that it is a change to what the plan showed. So the board is within its jurisdiction to require that the stone wall be rebuilt. And certainly you could consult with the Historical Commission if you felt it necessary to support such a decision.
Would it be appropriate to request that the rebuilding be consulted upon with the Historical Commission to make sure that it is appropriate to the character of kind of
Probably
what was there?
supervised.
Yes, supervised, thank you. It's been a long night, that's the word I was looking for. Or that they can have some kind of supervisory or advisory role in kind of the rebuilding. There's some pretty smart folks on the Historical Commission with a lot of knowledge about Easton and I think the type of walls, particularly in the area. And it might not be a bad idea to have them working with Mr. Humphreys.
So I guess my question, just by the way you asked that question, is would you be expecting something more than what was there or to replace what was there?
Given what folks are talking about tonight and the placement of the drainage. I don't believe that you can replace it exactly stone for stone, especially because the stones, I think, are not present. So whatever would have to be replaced would not be exact. So the question is, what's an acceptable replacement, I think?
I think it's
for
a
the
good question for
character.
the historical society to come and say-
Commission, yeah,
commission
yeah.
and say, this is that doesn't make sense. We don't want to impose something that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think it needs a
I
plan.
think as long as it's consistent with, again, the fact that the stone wall was shown in a way that would imply it was intended to be retained, and that we have minutes from a meeting that the chair represented that the board was going to require that it remain. So to the extent that it's about replacing what was there, I think that
So would
the
it be a
board-
motion to request
I
replacement
think
with a referral?
first that you need to
Okay.
consider that I think probably, although this wasn't requested, but the board, I believe, because this has been brought to its attention, can determine that this was a change to the plan that warranted input from the board.
Okay.
You need a motion for
Do I
that,
have a
right?
motion? Yeah, do I have a motion for that?
And we need to vote on that.
It's just
I need an actual
Motion to
motion.
consider what has been done and change the plan.
box on the side of the road.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All right. We'll do a roll call vote. Zygmunt?
Aye.
Weeks?
Aye.
Kedem?
Aye.
Wolf is an aye as well.
Stupid.
All
Good
right.
treat.
So the next would be to, how would we go
It would
about
probably
this?
work with
Okay.
Mr. Humphrey on how it should be restored.
Okay.
And to what
And the
and to
historical
what
commission.
extent? Because
Yeah.
again, it shows that it goes across the road. Of course, that's not, no one's going to ask that they do that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
It-
think
it
that's
need-
my
It
thing.
needs a plan, because
Yeah.
it can't be rebuilt in the same location that it was. It's going to have to do something to get around the
The
storm.
idea is
So-
to return the character that wall gave to that area. That is the objective. For that, we need the historical commission to help us with that. And I will say that the decision should be for Stephanie to contact them and figure out what,
okay.
and then work with Mr. Humphrey about what can be done.
And again, I just want to be clear that it's understood not to require that Mr. Humphrey go above and beyond what
Correct.
was there.
Would it be appropriate to request Mr. Humphreys come back with a plan for?
If the board's asking for input from the historical commission, my thought would be that I work with the community planner, Wayne Beitler, who works in my department, and we work with Mr. Humphrey and go from there.
Do you need a motion for that, or can we just suggest
I
that?
think we can just say
Okay,
that
how about we
I
just say
think we
that,
can just
yeah.
say that
Richard-
that's what
Richard,
we're going to take action.
We'll have that in the minutes.
Yeah.
I think you need
Okay.
to reach a logical compromise on
Yeah.
it- on
Yeah.
the thing and come back to the board for approval of
Yeah.
some plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, we'll start the kind of the interaction or need to involve the historical commission
Okay.
through Wayne.
Yeah, I just want to make sure this is respectful to both the neighbors and
Yeah.
the abutters, and also to Mr. Humphrey, that we figure out some kind of replacement that works for everyone involved. All right, so we're, I guess, set with this. Moving back to 531 Founder Street, and Bob can come back because he's
They
been,
didn't come back.
okay, he's been in the corner for a very long time.
Look at your wallet.
The corner?
It's hiding in the parking lot.
Yeah,
That's it, 23 feet.
I don't know if that,
all right.
It's from here to that wall. They want me to put up some rocks. I know, it's silly.
He's back.
All right, right, thank you, Mr. Humphries. We'll see you
Oh,
again.
Thank you. So I just did the measurement on the new historical wall that I'm going to build that's 21 feet long. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good night.
Mr. Humphries, you're gonna work with Stephanie and Wayne Butler, and we're gonna work on next steps. So
I
thank you very
understand.
much.
Can't put a sidewalk on a sidewalk with a stone wall on it or drainage, but 21 feet will build. Not a problem. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Humphries.
Thank you.
Okay.
Welcome
back.
back.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
All right.
Could have gone out for some food. But I didn't. Okay. All right. So we're going to recall the public hearing that we started on 531 Foundry Street. Gentlemen, if you please step forward.
Good evening, Gary Barnacky, Hammerhead LLC, 531 Foundry. And to my left, Aaron Waluka. So he's got his iPad in case I have to refer to it. My engineer, as I said, was at another meeting and he parked himself in one of the offices and had Wi-Fi and he was going to be able to point to all this on the screen and so forth. And then they were closing the building and they kicked him out. So now he's driving home from wherever he was and he asked me to present. So that's why I'm going to refer to anything that we've already submitted on the iPad. So if there's any questions, that's fine. Wasn't sure whether or not you need me to read the brief. It's basically the same as the last one, except it refers to the Phase 2 portion, which, if you remember, we talked about it last time that we were here on the first phase, which was to take the existing home and make it into a two-family. We haven't really started that, but we did have, if you don't know if you've noticed, but the outside of the house has been completely restored and painted with the right tones and flatness of the paint. And, you know, we took the extra time to make sure we got it right. And we think it looks great. And it's a great starting point. So if there's any questions with regard to any of this, I know some of the questions that we had before was regarding the drainage at the street, not allowing any of this driveway to go into the roadway, which subsequent to our meeting, we had all this stuff worked out. And so now you have all the grades and the arrows pointing to everything on the property stays on the property. And then this highlighted section here in yellow is the proposed 3 units in the back. And the area that is making it attached to the house is an existing deck, which will be a closed-in porch. And then it'll tie in with the porches that we're going to have on the front of this as well. So it all tie in to the same kind of a farmer's porch they have on the front of the existing homes. We're trying to bring in a lot of the architectural elements to that back piece. Even though you really won't be able to see it from the street, it'll still look nice and be functional to the people that are going to be living there. So if there are any questions.
Remind me, what about parking?
Parking. So along here, there are 2 spots for each one of the units. And then the existing unit, previously discussed, we have the 2 spots for what we call the barn section, and 2 spots for the main house.
So it's 2 spots for each one?
For each one. It's sufficient area for backing out and be able to enter Foundry Street going forward, which is also why we did this little circular section. So for anybody that might pull in and have to go back out, they don't have to back out onto Foundry, which is almost impossible.
Circular.
Yeah.
Question, is there any accommodation for visitor parking if they have guests and they have 2 cars?
Yeah, there's area along the side, and there's an area next to the dumpster over here, the proposed dumpster. And I believe that there's still enough room along the side back here for them to be able to back out and turn and then have guest spots as well.
Yeah, I think
They
that'd
are
be.
only a 2-bedroom, so.
Yeah, I was just thinking, most condo situations, they have the numbered spaces belonging to the unit and then some parking, so that when they have people over, there's, not any kind of disorder.
Yeah, there's no doubt, we're gonna have to come back anyway because the stormwater drainage calculations that were done for this are off at independent review, Cheshire Consultants. And I spoke with them thinking they were gonna try to get it done for tonight. There was no chance of that ever happening, so instead of canceling, obviously there are gonna be some questions that'll come up. If we can answer them, which parking is one that we will for when we come back.
Okay.
Yeah, because there is no way they can park on the street here.
Exactly. That's where I was going.
The only option is inside. I mean, there are two of your tenants with people coming in and everything else. Now you are adding 4 or 5 cars at least.
So, yeah, and I'll make sure that there's an ability, I'm thinking it's probably gonna be along this line here, but I'm gonna double check that. And maybe what we'll do is we'll have it delineated for next time.
I have another question. Given the number of units that you are now have, you have a significant upgrade to electrical and heating and all that.
Right.
What is the plan for this?
We've been in touch with the electric company. The way the power comes into the main building is off to the left over here. And so we've already done the calculations and submitted them, and it's gone from the initial consultation with them to the design. So they're gonna send a design engineer out. My electrician told me, I think it was last week, he got that notification. So we're gonna meet with them. So the plan is to bring in a pole, have them bring enough power to give each one of these units its own meter as well as enough amperage. And then each one of these units we've already calculated would be a 100 amp service, I believe. And there'll be enough coming in on the pole and the transformer to handle that. But again, that's up to design.
Underground from the pole back to the units.
Well, you will need upgrade on the unit, but you will also need the electric company to.
That's what they're designing.
Yeah, that's what they're gonna do. They went from initial giving it a work order to setting up the design engineer.
How are you going to heating, do the heating?
Natural gas, both, heat and air. For heat, natural gas, obviously electric for the air conditioning systems. In individual units for each.
And you have a lot of trees, so solar is not an option here. I can see from the picture.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stephanie?
So just a couple of questions. I think what they're providing for parking is what is required, and I understand the questions about guest visitors. At the same time, we're trying to decrease the amount of impervious area, so it's always kind of a balance there. Oh, there was a comment that was just made that I wanted to respond to.
It's a beautiful house.
I don't know whether.
One of the, in looking at the elevations again, and I didn't put this in my staff report, but the gable ends of, it looks like from the plan, the gable ends of the 3 additional units are what are going to be facing kind of but they're totally behind the
Existing house.
existing. And my only comment is because they don't have any windows or, architectural features. They're really very plain. So, but again, it looks like they're not going to be viewed from the road, so.
But even so, the windows that we'll be using will be grilled similar to the existing house, which I think were 6 over
I'm
6.
talking about on the gable ends, you show, the elevations do not show any windows.
Because that's where it connects to the other house.
Right.
Right,
So
so
that's
we're
where
gonna
one
make the
side
connection.
is, and then the other side is facing the backyard.
Given the parking and the area there, I think lighting, design, and photometric is needed, right? Should be part of your plan. that you
Valid
submit to
point.
us.
I agree.
And we're talking always about dark sky lighting.
Yeah.
Quick question. Building elevations, will the peaks of the condo units be visible from the street? Or is
No.
the house taller?
The house is taller.
Thank you.
Yeah, the road is kind of down.
Yeah.
We placed it specifically, if you look on there, it's kind of hidden on both sides.
Yeah,
For as
no.
much as possible. Not that we're trying to hide the unit, but we don't want it to take away from the historic value of the house.
And as I said earlier, even though it is not seen from the street, aesthetically, we don't want it to be just a box. So we have the farmer's porch in the front, again, matching the same kind of style and the trim as close as we can, coloring and all that.
The farmer's porch is 6 feet deep. It's not a decorative farmer's porch. It's one designed for people to actually be able to hang out there and look out over.
Yeah. And then each unit's gonna have its own, own deck on the back.
If I may, like, I'll just say for the parking, I bet measuring it out, having lived in and having family members live in areas with the parking as is, I bet you can fit more cars on the side for sure. I just need measurements to be sure, but I don't think it would increase the impervious area much if you just kind of, it might be helpful for the board just to see kind of how you can stack the cars up on the side.
Yeah, and so that was one of the notes.
Okay,
just
yeah, thank you.
Shortly ago, I'm gonna see if he can actually draw them out so we can make sure that they'll actually fit.
Yeah. You can also just stack a car right behind each spot.
Yeah.
Having done that in the past, just
Yeah.
block them right in.
And then my other comment was, because we had talked about this when they came for the duplex, because Mr. Beniki and Mr. Luca had always indicated they were really seeking to make this a 5-unit project, that rather than issuing another special permit for the 3 units, that the board consider an amended special permit to the initial, an amendment to the initial special permit. And that way you have in one document your, kind of the flow of how it evolved. But that's my suggestion.
Okay. Any other questions from board members? Stephanie, when do we expect to hear back from the peer review?
I would expect it probably by the next meeting, which is in 2 weeks, correct, Suzanne?
Okay. At this time, I'm going to open up to members of the public. If they have any comments? Yes, please. Just if you could just step up and state your name and your address.
Hi, Rachel Moore, 541 Foundry. I know I never called you back. I'm so sorry. I just wanted to ask about the plans for the dumpster. It's been an issue on Foundry Street with some of the other developments of emptying dumpsters late at night from some of the commercial spaces. Also, I'm 2 doors down, so like having a big smelly dumpster. I just wanted to kind of ask about the plans for like enclosing it and emptying it and all that fun stuff.
The dumpster is about as far from your property as it could be on the plan. It's shown in the yellow at the back.
Yeah, it's perpendicular, like my land is just 1 over, so it's not, yes, go ahead.
But we can, usually with residential, they're not doing that at 2, 3 in the morning, but we can request to have.
Typically with the commercial, we wait till after all the papers are gone and then have easier access, but that, I've usually seen dumpsters being done during regular business hours.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it was something that was brought up, because I saw the dumpster, it made me nervous. Thank you.
Dale Carrister, 21 South Street. I'll be brief because you were more than patient with me before, and I really appreciate that. I had the opportunity to meet with Mr. Beniki, and thank you for saying that because I didn't know how to pronounce his last name. I was referring to him as Gary and Aaron as well on the property a month or 2 ago, and feel like this property is in very good hands with him. I was pleased with what he's doing in terms of the maintenance of the front. I was also pleased to see the Historic Commission weigh in, and also noted that the townhomes in the back won't be visible from the front, so I think it's consistent with maintaining the historical character in the area. And as this board has heard on numerous occasions, I had to go through multiple housing situations through a number of years while going through a divorce. I like the idea of having this additional diversity of housing that we have in the area, and I think it contributes to the village area. So I'm very much in favor of the application. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. So, Stephanie, I guess theoretically we could close the public hearing, or do we have to leave it open until we get the peer review back?
I would leave it open in case we get some comments that require
to have
changes to the
That's-
plan.
that's-
I mean, you're moving, have you already finished the conversion of, so they're still working on the conversion of the existing, and I don't think this is going to hold it up significantly.
No, actually, Suzanne and I were speaking about the logistics of actually coming back on the very next meeting. I think as long as we get our input back from the consulting company, then once we get that information, giving Peter a chance to either look into it or whatever he's got to do, we're okay with the next one after that, which I think was in person, October 8th.
Right, and I mean, I think this is not a large site, it's not a big project. So I
Unless,
think the stormwater should be pretty
What is the status
straightforward.
with your drawings? You cannot complete until you have all the information and everything else. We need those, right?
what drawings are they?
Drawings, the design, the plans,
Oh, yeah, yes.
The drawings of the buildings?
drawings of everything.
Showing, I think what, if I may, I think what Amos is referring to is what do you the details of the stormwater structures that you're proposing.
Yeah, and the photometric plan and the landscape and all that needs to be somewhere so we can take a look at it.
All right, so do I have them, unless you have further questions?
I had two. Do you want to ask them to continue to the next meeting? If we need to, we can always continue that without coming in. We can request a continuance. That way, if we're ready for the next one, we can.
Actually, not a bad idea. If the consulting comes back and says that all of the calculations are correct, we have now for the next couple of weeks to take care of the stuff that we have on our list and have it ready. And we'd be fine with that.
Second question, would it make sense, and if you can, for the board to vote now whether they'll accept this as an amendment to the previous special permit application?
No,
I
no,
think
that's the vote that the board will be
Yeah.
making. That will be the final.
Okay, I didn't know if we
Yes.
should
Yeah.
mark the plans as amendment plans.
No, you
instead of-
don't, you won't.
Okay. No problem.
Okay. All right, I will accept the motion.
Motion to continue 531 Foundry Street to September 30th?
Yep.
Next one? Yeah, September 30th. Wolf?
Second, Signet?
Any further discussion? Hearing none. Kedem?
Aye.
Wolf?
Aye.
Weeks?
Aye.
Ziegman?
Aye.
And Stetson's and I as well. See you guys in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
Sorry, because my date is like, nice to put a face to your name.
All right. Moving on. Now we have our zoning amendments. And do we have to be read in on this one, Stephanie? Because
Yes,
this is a public
This is the
hearing.
opening of the public hearing,
Right.
correct?
Do we have an,
Oh, okay, so we're still discussing.
Okay, we have to, Susan, we have to vote on adding the definitions of the family to the zoning amendments. To hold a public hearing on that, yes.
but didn't, at the last, correct me if I'm wrong, at the last meeting, didn't we vote to? All right.
So this was brought up because as part of the accessory dwelling units, it talks about, two things occurred. So we did receive approval from the Attorney General's office on the MBTA zoning, which I think I failed to send out to all of you.
Okay.
Letting you know that it's still, we're still waiting for Housing and Livable Communities to finish their compliance review. I did reach out and they did tell me that they are working on it and we should expect to hear soon. That was 2 weeks ago. I was hoping we'd hear very soon. But going back to the Attorney General's office, what they did comment on was our definition of the a family. And it was actually truncated from the 2015 version of the zoning bylaw to the 2016, which was the rewrite. And in the rewrite, it left off a reference to any household that had 5 or more people in it that were unrelated was not to be considered a family. And fair housing laws require that you not discriminate against family residents in housing. So we're proposing changing the definition there. So I added it for that, plus it works in with the ADU.
With the ADUs, yeah, that makes perfect sense. So wait, so just so I have the timeline then, so tonight, are we actually voting to hold public hearings on all of them, including, because I thought we did the.
No, the board already voted
That's what I
on
thought.
the first 4, right?
Okay, so we're
It's
just
just-
voting on the family definition, and then we'll publish the hearing notice tomorrow, and then we'll actually open the public hearings on October 8th? That's,
Yeah.
all right. Okay, so this
So
will be a lot shorter and easier than I anticipated.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Do we have any questions about the family definition?
I think it makes sense.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
tend to agree.
I can actually go through and find it, but I was looking for it as I was talking, and
It's more or less lawyers.
Yeah.
So then,
Can I-
do I have a motion?
Can I motion, what am I supposed to motion?
A motion to hold a public hearing
Okay.
on,
I mean,
Can motion to hold a public hearing on and then list them all?
no, just
Okay.
235,
Just
60
235-60 definitions, family. Wolf.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Kedem?
Aye.
Wolf?
Aye.
Weeks?
Aye.
Zygmunt?
Aye.
And Stetson's an aye as well. Okay. Then I guess that brings us to meeting minutes. I wasn't here last time.
so I would just ask that the board, between now and the next meeting, go through what we're proposing. Amos, you will recognize the
Yeah,
solar.
but you didn't get the last one.
I didn't
sent you
get
the
your.
link.
So I was on vacation last week,
Okay.
and that's when that came in. I had this all put together last Monday before I was out of pocket. So I didn't get a chance to incorporate that back in.
I
I
copy
can do
you
that.
and Bob also.
Yeah.
But we met with Alan.
Yeah.
And we resolved most of the issues of that,
Okay.
on that solar.
So
revision
my
for-
plan was, and I didn't have a chance to do it this morning, my plan was to go in, take a look at what you sent me, and figure out if this needs to be changed, or if I have questions for you, and we need to
I think
spend a few more time.
Appendix A and B tables
Yeah,
is where we have
the
more
work
or
to do.
less
Question
the
marks.
questions.
Okay,
So
okay.
on the tables of use,
yeah,
there are some yeses with a question mark,
okay,
saying that maybe it shouldn't be yes.
okay.
Okay? And on the dimensional table, based on the change we made, it's mostly about the size of lot setbacks for medium and large, and
Yeah,
that it needs to be discussed, because I put there what is my consultation with a solar expert. I
yes,
copy you
yes, yep.
with the guy is ready to help me with this. So I welcome. He's an expert on designing solar systems. So I picked up those numbers kind of on the conversation, but it's open to us to decide on those numbers. And I need to bring the conversation to the board, or besides Alan, because we.
Yeah.
it's
Well, the
important.
good news is we've got public hearings coming up, so it's going to be a really good time to vet all this and to get some community input. And
Yeah.
So this is perfect, and thank you for doing all the
Yeah,
hard,
so
the
if-
heavy lifting on this.
It's about
a lot of work.
It's about the setbacks, the boundary around a solar system, especially ground-mounted large
scale,
and
yeah.
medium. What is the key issue, and also a ground-mounted, relatively medium and large on residential. That is, but you send me the decision to the court. And whatever we do with this, we need to go to council because the state protects solar systems, and we cannot put on the bylaws anything that coming
Would restrict.
contention with the state law.
Yeah, I mean, my sense of it is that you need to have a reasonable amount of your municipality that allows it.
Yeah.
You know, whether that's consistent with the language of the statute, that's how the courts have been interpreting.
When you send me Walpole make a decision to deny and was reversed by the
That's
court.
right. Well, right, and just to be clear, just to kind of fill people in at home, in Walpole and in Waltham, which was the original Tracer Lane, they only allowed like 1 to 3% of the land area in their towns to have the large scale solar.
We have a lot more.
And the court, and so that's what I just wanted to point out to you in that the cases, it's that when there is an extremely low amount, that's when the courts have stepped in and said, you guys haven't done enough. And I'm hopeful that we're going to be fine by now.
I was very cognizant of the imposing limitations.
Good. Well, I look forward to hearing more about it. All right. So the last item on tonight's agenda is meeting minutes.
Motion to approve the meeting minutes of August 26, 2024. Wolf.
Second, Weeks?
All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Kevin?
Aye.
Wolf?
Aye.
Weeks?
Aye.
Sigmund?
Aye.
Stetson's and I as well. All right. It was a busy night, and it's a late night compared to the ones recently. So I will have a motion.
Motion to adjourn. Sorry, I didn't mean to sound so happy.
All right. We're going straight to the vote on this one. Kedem?
Aye.
Wolf?
Aye.
Weeks?
Aye.
Zygmunt?
Aye.
And Stetson's and I as well. Thank you all for your participation tonight, for standing in on the longest one of the evening, and thank you, Easton.